Attention! After all, it's Ty's birthday. All celebrating with him. All right, number 3. Remember yesterday we said that if a number is missing, this is my X, my Y, and my Z column. If a number is missing, I have to put a 0 in for it in its spot. So in the second equation, there is no Y. So I put a 0 in where the Y should be, in the Y column. And then I have -1, -1, 2, -1. Okay? Now, you write that down. That's written down. That's the matrix that you're going to put into your calculator. So, if you already know how to do it, go right ahead. If you don't, we'll go through it again. Second matrix, edit. So click over to edit. And when you hit enter, the cursor is up at the top, and it's basically saying, okay, you want to put a matrix in? All right, how big is it? Well, what are the dimensions of this matrix? 3 rows, 4 columns. So 3, enter, 4, enter. Now, you probably, if you had your calculator yesterday, you have numbers in there right now from yesterday. That's fine, who cares? We're going to type right over them. All right, so we're going to type our new numbers in. So type them in, making sure that you're using the negative button, not the subtraction. You'll get an error. So we need the negative button. And as soon as you put in that last number and press enter, then we are done editing. The matrix is in. So we're going to do second quit, and then we have to now go back in and do something. So second matrix again, but this time over to math. And then all the way down, there's lots of things your calculator will do with matrices. We want it to RREF. Write this down so Mrs. Ford knows I press my RREF button. And out came a new matrix. All right, how do we make that happen? Well, go down to RREF and press enter. Now, your screen literally says RREF. With a parentheses, an open parentheses, it's asking you, all right, I'm ready. What do you want me to RREF? Well, I want it to RREF matrix A. So I'll go back into second matrix, hit enter, and then enter again, and it comes out with a new matrix that looks like this. Is that what yours looks like? And therefore, I know the answer to my question is 1, 2, 1, X, Y, Z. Right there. That's going to be your answer. All right, let's get the next one set up. What is a little bit different about number 4? Well, we're missing a bunch. Plus, there are how many variables? There are 4. So, X, Y, Z, W, and then the equals numbers over here. All right, so here we go with number 1. What's that first row going to look like? 1, 1, -1, 0, 4. There are 4 letters in this problem. Every equation has to have that letter. So if it doesn't, you have to put in a 0. All right, what about the next one? No X.
0.
I got a Y.
1.
No Z. I got a W. And I got -4. All right, how about the third row? Got an X. No negative, I mean, I have a negative Y. I have no Z's and no W's and a 1. And finally, what do I have on the bottom? An X, no Y's, a Z and a W, and a 1. Does that look okay to everybody? Matrices are very organized. You gotta be organized, have everything lined up. Go ahead and label your columns if it helps you. All right, here we go. I'll put it into my calculator. So what do I do first? Second matrix, edit. Now be careful. How big is this guy? Watch it. How many rows?
4 by 5.
How many columns? 5. So this one is a 4 by 5. Now we'll just type in our new numbers. Again, somebody asked yesterday, how do I delete all that? You don't even need to. Don't worry about it. Just type it on top of it. Once we get the last one in, we press enter. What do?
Second entry.
Second quit. Gotta get out of there. Then we go right back in. Over to math.
Down to RREF.
All the way down to RREF.
Second entry.
And then second matrix A. And I don't know, I'm hoping I type my numbers in right. I got 4.5, 3.5, 4, and -7.5. Anybody else get that? Okay. Now here's the deal. Obviously this is super simple. We're not even doing anything except pressing buttons. But if you make one mistake over here, or if you make one mistake when you're typing it in, forget a negative or whatever, your answer will be totally wrong. Because the calculator is going to operate on the numbers you give it. So if you give it the wrong numbers, you're going to get the entirely wrong answer. Okay? Now I want to remind you, most of you probably aren't ever going to do this, but you can check this answer. So if I think, and here's what I think my answer is, 4.5, 3.5, 4, -7.5.
Plug it into the original.
Exactly. If you want to check it, you could go back and pick one of your equations, any one, it doesn't matter, and plug those numbers into it and see if it works. So for example, if I wanted to plug it in the first equation, is 4.5 plus 3.5 minus 4 equal to 4. If it is, then I probably have the right answers.
Yep.
If it's not, then I need to go back and read it. Okay, one more. Try this one on your own. See if you can get this one all set up, typed in. Remember, on test day, when I grade your paper, I'm only looking for a few things. I'm looking for the original matrix, your transition here, your RREF, your new matrix, and then your answer. That's what you're gonna write down. This is a tricky one. I'm gonna wait till everybody gets to this point, and we're gonna talk about why this one's weird.
Is it no answer?
I heard somebody say something. What did someone say?
So is it no answer?
Yes, it is no answer. And let's talk about why it's no answer.
Is it what?
First of all, are we good here? Did everybody make it to this point?
Yeah, that's fine.
You are under.
Take it.
Get into your thing. Give me the iPad. End of the day. Inexcusable, Mr. McCormick. Now, can somebody tell me why this problem is different? I borrowed Cam's paper. This was what we got when we typed in number 3. But if you look at what we got when we did number 4, number 2, number 1, they all have this in common. Maybe you didn't notice it, and I certainly didn't emphasize it. But if you look now, if you've been taking notes, do you see that all of the problems have this in common right here?
Yeah.
They all look like this. Even the bigger one looked that way. It was a bigger version of it, but it looked like this. And then it had the answers over here. I don't remember what they were, but you see that? So look right here. See how all those ones are in a nice little line like that?
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. Now, what happened on this one? Uh-oh, that's not a 1. So, let's say you weren't paying attention, and you thought your answer was 0, 0, 1. I mean, that's what you would think, right? If you weren't paying attention, absolutely, you would think that is the answer. Well, let's look at our first equation. X plus y plus z is -3. If you put in 0, 0, 1, is that gonna work?
No.
No. that's your first clue that, okay, either I messed up or there's something weird going on here. This is the weirdness that's going on. This, back here, problem number 3. This top equation, remember, these are equations, literally says 1x, no y's, no z's, equals 1. So x equals 1. Y equals 2, and z equals 3. What does this say? This bottom row literally says no z's, no x's, no y's, no z's equal 1. That's what this says. Is that possible? No. There's no solution to this. And again, the key is that right there has to all be 1s. When you press that RREF button, that's reduced row echelon form. You don't need to know that, but what that means is this is all 1s. And if it's not going to come out all 1s, then you're not going to have a solution. One more quick point before we move on to the next thing. When the quiz you took yesterday and your equations look like this, right? 2 variables, 2 equations, those are lines. And so when you were doing substitution and elimination, you were looking for where they crossed, okay? What are these things? Well, when you have an x, a y, and a z, those are planes. So you are literally looking for where these planes, like the ceiling is a plane. So for a problem like number 3 that had an answer, you're looking for that corner right up there, where the ceiling and the front wall and the side wall all come together. Where do all 3 of those planes come together? Right up there in the corner. For problem number 5, you have a situation like the ceiling, the floor, and that wall. They don't all come together in a single point. You see? So you get a different kind of answer. Okay. Perfect. Now, I don't see you tomorrow. However, if you would like to come in tomorrow morning and take an totally optional, your choice. If you want one more grade and you think you got this under control, you can do one. I'll have a little quiz ready with 1 calculator problem like you just did. Now, it won't be a weird one. It'll be like a normal one. But if you feel like you know how to use your calculator and it's worth coming in before school and you want to do it, that will be another grade for the 3rd quarter if you need points. If you don't need it and don't want to do it, I'm fine with that. This will be a test question, right? This will be a test question. So, optional tomorrow morning, since I don't have class with you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, optional. You want to come in, optional quiz. Or not, doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to do 1 Cramer's rule problem. What is Cramer's rule? Cramer's rule is another way of solving the systems that you did with substitution and elimination. All right, so I want you to look carefully at this first problem. This is our Cramer's rule problem, letter A. Would you agree that that looks just like the quiz questions yesterday's quiz questions? Yep. So could we do substitution? Yep. Could we do elimination? Yep. But now I'm going to show you another way that some of you may actually like the best. It's really easy. Step 1. Make a determinant of the coefficients. Just the coefficients. So 2, 3, 3, -4. These are the x's, these are the y's, all lined up. X's are 2 and 3, y's are 3 and -4. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Now, find the determinant. So we're going to take 2 times -4 which is -8. And we're gonna take 3 times 3, which is 9. And what do we do with those numbers?
Right.
Subtract them. So the answer is -17. Now, -17 becomes the denominator for your x and y. So you know how on yesterday's quiz, I rigged it so you got whole numbers?
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen. Usually we get fractions, and this answer is going to be fractions. Something over -17, something over -17. Now, how do we find the somethings? Well, to find x, you're gonna make another determinant. Now pay attention, this is easy, but you gotta remember how it works. To find the x numerator, go back to your original determinant you made here. Cut these numbers out and paste them on top of the x column. So I'm finding x, so I'm pasting the 1 and the 2 on top of the x. So that determinant looks like 1, 2, 3, -4. So I simply cut these out and paste them right on top of the letter I'm looking for, which is x.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you think I'm going to do y? Same thing, only I'm going to cut these out and paste them on top of y. So that looks like 2, 3, 1, 2. So whichever letter you are solving for, that's where you paste your constants. All right, so what do I have here? I'm going to evaluate this one, so I have -4,
Minus
6, I'm subtracting, so I get -10.
Yep.
So that's my numerator right here. Now, I always reduce, so that's going to be positive 10/17. Now, what's this one going to be? 4 minus 3, 1. So this one stays 1 over -17. Now, this is the first time you've done this. We're going to do the rest of them next time. But I want you to think about something. If you had been doing substitution or elimination, I love to eliminate. I would have eliminated. And I would have gotten x equals 10/17. What do I have to do after that? If I'm doing elimination or substitution, I got to put it back in. Oh, Lord. Now I'm putting back in 10/17, and I'm dealing with that arithmetic. Kids, if you use Cramer's rule, does it matter what these came out to be? No, because you're not using them. You're just writing them down. So that's why I say Cramer's rule sometimes is people's favorite, because you don't have to get common denominators and do all that mess around.
You just go to the
All right, so we'll pick up here next time.